Good morning.
So next, so the next topics, whatever we're gonna go through. So the selector plays a major role. Okay. So first, before we are stepping in, so I thought like let's have an introduction about it so that it'll be clear for you. Okay. So the most next, whatever the set of activities we're gonna see indicate on screen like close application and open application. We saw the activity, right? Same way, indication will be there. We need to highlight the elements or a windows or whichever the applications that we are working on. So during that time, the selectors will be generators. Basically, selectors plays major role on identifying the uh, correct application and then performing the activities that we've defined for the particular application. Okay. So can you scroll down, Vijay? I hope we have gone through it. So whatever the list you are viewing at right here. So WND is for Windows, HTML is for browser, web controls. That means web control is nothing but the elements present in the web browser, label, text box, button, drop down. So those are web controls. So controls are nothing but it's a normal one. Like if I take a notepad, if the notepad edit area where we fill the values is a control. Okay. So UI, something which we couldn't predict it, something with image which we are doing it is UIA. So Java, SAP, Silverlight. If you can scroll down, you can see those a list will be there, and and the list will be having attributes. Can you scroll down a little bit? So this is showing the method what has been generated. Stop here. So when you say edit selector, can you scroll a little up? Okay. So this is nothing but stop at this. So this is nothing but the attributes. You can see this app, title, tag, ID is nothing but the attributes. Okay. So this HTML app defines that what application it belongs to. The web controller is nothing but the element present in the HTML page. Okay. So this highlight is to cross verify the element which we have spied. Is it highlighting the exact one which we have identified or not? For that purpose, we click on highlight. So which will be highlighting the element which we have read in a red square box. Okay. So on the left side, can you see validate? So the element which you have spied. So if it is correct, then it will show you the green symbol. So the second time you're running it and there is a changes in the attributes in the same window. Okay, suppose there is a ID, I'm using it, and this ID attribute keeps changing every time I reload the page. That means that is not constant. So during that time, what happens? The green will turn to be red because the previous time the ID was 1 and this time it's the ID was 2. During that time, the validate green will turn to be red. Can you scroll down? You can see the four status that will be available when you are opening the edit selector. Can you see? If it is a valid one, it'll be green. If it is an invalid one, that means if there is changes in the selectors, then you need to make a uncheck of those checkboxes attributes, which is invalid, and then make it to green. So when it is being validator, it'll be gray. So that means if you're modifying with your um like parameters, then it turns to be yellow. Okay. Now scroll a little bit down. So the same thing has been highlighted here. When I say edit attributes, I can modify. So which we will seeing furthermore on this. Okay. Can you scroll down? So to see the list of tags and attributes, those things are valid, specific for the WND. Suppose like we've seen HTML, right? So suppose you're working with a Windows application, it'll be WND. So under WND, so whatever the list you are viewing here are attributes. So whatever the things that you're seeing in the blue ticks, those things are valid. Whatever the things that you're seeing in red or shouldn't be considered, even though if it has been checked, you have to uncheck that. So this is a cross verification which we are doing it once after we identifying the element window. Okay. Same way for each one. So if it is a Windows, what are the attributes to be considered? If it is a HTML, what are the attributes to be considered? Same way for web control, control, UIA, Java, SAP, Silverlight, they have given up. So you should remember this. Okay. So just go through it. Okay. Scroll down. You can see for each application set it is given. And this is mandatory that you have to remember this. At least remember the ones which is valid ones or invalid ones. Keep those things in mind so that oppositely you can say that suppose I say URL HTML window name title is valid. Apart from that, anything I'm gonna see it under HTML will be invalid. So keep it in those kind of things in mind so it's easy for you. Okay. Now scroll to the end. So now we're gonna see the types of selectors. Okay. Can you see? Wait. Can you see full versus partial selectors? Click on that. So you can see the difference they have given. So full selectors contains the entire element details. Suppose I have used close application. Okay. So the close application will have the full in detail. That means which windows, what is the application type, what is the details, everything will be there. So this will be called as full selectors. So partial selectors are nothing but, so the open application which we did, right? That means I have a container. I have identified that this is the application, and whatever the things I'm going to place inside the do activity will be called as partial selectors, because the elements which I'm going to place will already have a parent selector. That means whatever I have selected here will already have the details of that in the first line. So whatever I'm gonna highlight it, so those details alone will be populated. So it will be working on the right application. Whereas in this scenario, whatever is there in the front screen, it will be highlighting. So it'll be having the entire information. Can you scroll down so you can see the difference they have shown you? So this is an example of a partial selector or stable one, because this area is grayed out because it is inside the do activity of the application. Okay, so that's the reason the previously it has been selected. So next step would be whatever the elements we are selecting under the application will be the one which will be highlighted. The window will be grayed out because we have already selected and the activities are placed inside that. The same thing, if you go for a full selector, you can see that entire things will be populated. Scroll down. So you can see here, everything will be populated. Whereas in partial selector, you can see the first line is grayed out because that has been selected at the beginning only. So whatever has been selecting inside the do activity of it will be your partial selectors. Clear?
Yeah.
I'll I'll show you the difference on this one. For which one? Okay. Scroll down. So next, what we're gonna do is selectors with wildcards. Okay. Scroll down. Can you see selectors with wildcards? Choose that. Suppose I'm working with a Notepad application. Okay. So when I open the first time, the Notepad app, it'll be always start with untitled. Okay. So that means that the notepad with untitled one will only work on the notepad application which I'm going to work on for the activity which I have defined. Suppose any notepad application, it need to work. So what I have to do is I have to include this wildcards. Okay. Basically, I have used two wildcards. One is a question mark, another one is asterisk. So when I say asterisk, that means it can have one or more character. That means I'm leaving it up as a choice. It can be anything. Suppose, um, so it's Vijay, right? So I want any names that s- can be having anything in the beginning. I will give asterisk Jay. So now what happens? The beginning characters can be anything, but it has to end with Jay. Then means it is valid for me. Okay. So the same thing if I say VI asterisk. So it can be Vignesh, it can be Vijay, it can be anything on that. The beginning two letters has to be VI. So that's what it means to say. So it replaces zero or more characters. Same thing if I use a question mark, it'll be replaced with single character. Suppose I'll make it as question mark. So whatever may be the character in here, apart from that, everything has to be correct. So it replaces only one single character. When I say asterisk, it can be anything. When I say question mark, that one character can be replaced. That's what it means to say. Okay. If you can scroll down, they have used a notepad as an example. Okay. So here, what they're going to do is this untitled is there, right? They will remove untitled and use asterisk. So when I say asterisk, it'll be still valid because my notepad title will be always hyphen notepad is a constant word. Before that, it'll be a changing word. That means any file that I open, based on that, the title will be changed. So that is not a constant one, but hyphen notepad is a constant one. So what we're doing is we remove untitled one and replace it with asterisk. Can you scroll down? So can you see it has been changed as asterisk. So now this particular element, I mean to say whatever the activity which we have defined will work with any notepad application. It need not to be untitled every time. Okay. Is it clear? Okay. So, so I'll take you through the differentiation that we discussed so far. Then we will go through the dynamic selectors in the last. Okay. Otherwise, it will be confusion at this present. Um, Vijay, can you go to the UiPath Studio? Okay. So create a new sequence and name it as selectors. Okay. So yesterday we seen this close application, right? Drag and drop a close application. Okay. So open a notepad. Okay. Can you close all the notepads which you have previously opened it and blank open a untitled one. Okay. So now come back to the UiPath Studio. So now click on indicate on screen and select the notepad application. It's an entire window. Yeah. Click on that. So now come back to UiPath Studio. Click on the three lines and go to edit selector. So here, if you see, it would have generated. So this is full selector. So which denotes the application and everything here. Okay. Now click on cancel. and drag and drop a open application. So click on indicate on screen the same application. Okay, so now drag and drop a close application inside the do activity and then indicate that the same notepad application. And this time go to the edit selector inside the close application. Close application. Click on that and go to the edit selector. So the first line is grayed out because which has been already been defined. So that's the reason it has been grayed out. So since we selected the entire title, so you are not seeing anything specific attributes for the element. If we choose the edit area or something, it'll be having a different one. Okay, is it clear? And this one will work specific to the untitled application. So now we're gonna see how to work with wildcards. Click on cancel. So close the first application, close application which we have created, right? Click on that and delete it. Okay, so now inside the do activity we have, right? Click on the close application and delete it. Okay, so on the left side, the search activity, um, search for type into. I'll explain this element later. So just for your demo, we are using this now. So drag and drop the type into, click on indicate, and then select the notepad edit area. I said edit area. Yes, click on that. Now in between the double quotes where you can see text must be quoted, give a content there in between double quotes. Okay. So now save it and then run, close the notepad application and run it. Run the program. Okay. So now close this notepad. So in the open application, you can see arguments, right? Click on the open application activity. Open application activity. In the right side, can you see parameters, arguments in the properties? Yes. So in between double quotes, you can give a file path location of a notepad. So in between double quotes, give a notepad path location. Give anything which is already there. Test trying whatever we have, right? Choose that. Backward slash, remove the previous one. Okay, now click OK. And now run the program, save this and run it. And this time it'll throw an error mentioning that the selector didn't found exception. Selector not found exception. Because the front. So it can't identify the window. So this is where we will be using the wildcards. Wait for it. So by default, all the activities that we work on UiPath has 30 seconds wait time. So on the left side, you can see, right? cannot find the UI element corresponding to this selector. Okay, now stop the process. So now in the open application, click on the three lines and go to edit selector. So now double click on the untitled one, double click on that, use asterisk there. Okay, so now you can see that it turns to be yellow. Click on the yellow. Now it is perfect. Now click OK. Close the Notepad application which is opened. Now click on the run. So this time it will work perfectly fine. Got it? Understood the differences? Is it clear? Any doubts? Vijay or
Yeah,
anyone?
I'm clear. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
clear.
okay. So now close the Notepad application. So if you're clear, then we can step into the next set of activities. So this selectors, right, go through it once separately for better understanding on this. Okay. So any next step of activities, we're gonna see this as the main thing. Now in the left side, clear the search in the activity. Okay. Scroll down, expand UI automation. Okay, so expand windows in the bottom. So here. So here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use two methods. One, launching the application and continuing with it. So which we already did it using open application. So next one is attach window. That means the application is already running. Just give me a minute. Okay, sorry. So now what you're gonna do is, so now we have seen, see here. So since we're gonna create XML files, okay. So one XML file may have the set of activities that we are opening it for the first time. The other one will be the continue with it. So this will be holding the start. That means launching it for the first time. And this one will be having the continuation. That means the application is already running and then we are continuing attaching to the application and performing the rest of the activities. So the open application start process are the things which you are doing it for the beginning of the time. That means only once for launching the application. So now what we're gonna see is the application is already running and we're gonna attach with it and then perform the set of activities that has to be performed in the application. Now delete the open application which is there, Vijay. Drag and drop a attach window. So when I say attach window, by the name only you can understand that. So the application is already running. I'm just making a link. It is not launching. It is linking to the application which is already running. Can you open any notepad or any windows? just open the test file. No, I mean to say the notepad. Okay, now come back to the UI path. Click on indicate on screen and highlight this application. Okay, so now whatever the activities that we're gonna place in the do activity will be workout for that application. Suppose I want to maximize the notepad application. In the left side, can you see maximize window? Drag and drop it. So this will help you to maximize the application. So it doesn't require any input since we are placing it inside the do activity. Okay. Now, if I want to minimize it, so we can use minimize activity. So whatever the activity I'm showcasing now doesn't require any specific input since it is placed inside the container. Okay. So now next one is move window. For this one, you have to give the coordinates since we're gonna move the position of window from one position to another one. So we need this one. Okay. So drag and drop move window. For this alone, you have to give the inputs of coordinates. In the left side, you can see what would be the height, width, and the x coordinates and the y coordinates. Suppose I have a window here and I want to move it to here. So I need to know the x, y, and the height and width of the window in order to move it. Okay. So you have to give the numbers and then you can check it out how it is getting moved up. Okay. So next what we have is, can you see hide window in the left side? So this hide window, so what it does is, so it will be minimizing the application. That means it won't be showcased. When I say hide window, it'll be gone completely. So until I use show window, can you see in the left side, show window, the bottom? Until I use that activity, the window won't be appearing back. Like when we usually minimize it, the icon will be at least displayed. So in this scenario, when I use hide window, the icon also won't be displayed. So next, when I use show window, the application comes back. Okay. So then we have restore option. Okay. So close window option also we have. So close window and close application. So suppose it is specific. Suppose close window is whatever is active, that one. So close application is the entire one. So close window, the specific one which we have attached to it, that particular window it mean to say. Okay, suppose I have three notepad application opened up and I'm working on the specific one. When I say close application, that means it closes the entire application. When I say close window, the specific window which we are working on, that alone will be get closed. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Okay. So next one is browser activities. In the left side, can you see browser in the top? So in browser, we have both attach browser and open browser. So can you create a new sequence for browser activities? Browser activities. So if we want to work with the browser application, then we need to activate this. Okay. So suppose I'm launching it for the first time, then drag and drop open browser. When I'm doing it for the first time, open browser. So on the right side, can you see browser type? So from the drop down, you can choose what kind of browser type I want to choose. I can choose Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, whichever I'm working on. So, but when we are about to choose that and work on, we need to make sure those extensions are installed. In the beginning of the session, I've taken you through, right? Suppose you choose Chrome. So in the insert URL in between double quotes, type google.com. Just type google.com, that should be fine, it works. Now close the browser which is already running. Okay, so now click on the play button. So now the browser will be launched. So this one will work perfectly fine. We don't have any issues. But highlighting the elements, we did type into, right? Search for type into. One second. Yeah, drag and drop it inside the do activity. So click on indicate and then give the search field. Yes, select that. So I think in your case, you have add the add-on. If someone is getting a notification that the extension is not enabled, then in the left side top, you can see home, right? Go to home and go to settings. Sorry, not settings, tools. Can you see the UiPath extensions? Click on the browser extension, which you're gonna work on, and that to be installed and enabled. So in some cases, it'll be installed, but it won't be enabled. So what we have to do is, can you go to the browser? In the right side, can you see the UI icon? So if it is enabled, it'll be appearing. If you don't see it, can you see a three dots in the end, the right side? Click on that. Go to more tools, go to extensions. So here you will be seeing the UiPath. Can you see UiPath web automation? So you can see it in here. So this has to be enabled. Okay, then only as Vijay did, you can do the same thing in your machine. Okay, now Vijay, come back to the UiPath, click back. So here in the text must be quoted. You can just type RPA or UiPath in between the double quotes. So delete one in the end. Okay, so now what happens? The browser will be launched and UiPath will be filled in the search. Okay, so this is one. Suppose next one is attach window, sorry, attach browser. That means the existing running application, I'm gonna link with it and I'm gonna perform the next step what I want to perform. So scroll down, go to attach browser, drag and drop below the open browser. Listen carefully, below the open browser, not inside the open browser, below the open browser. Okay. Now click on indicate browser on screen and select the Google search page, which we have loaded. Click escape, make it to the page
Give me a
and
minute.
do it.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Come back to the browser page.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, go to the browser page, the Chrome browser, and close the extension page. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is come back to the UI path, click on indicate browser and select the Chrome browser page. Just click on that. See, when I say window and title, so there is differences there. Okay, so now we're gonna perform a click activity. So search for click in the activity search. So drag and drop, wait, mouse click will be there. Scroll up. Scroll up. Can you see mouse click? Yes, that's the one. Drag and drop inside the do activity and click on indicate element inside the browser and select the Google search button. Google search button. That's a edit area which indicate on screen. Can you see Google search button there? Yeah, that is the one. Select that. So both are the two set of activities. One, the browser will be launched and it will be filled. And second, it will be attached with the window which is already running. And then click the button. Okay. Now close the browser, Chrome browser, and then run the program. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So practice on this two Windows and browser activities for today. So we'll see further more on how to fill up the forms and other set of activities tomorrow. Okay. First, finish up the selectors, understand the concept on selectors, what are the attributes, and then we will see the rest tomorrow. Okay.
Thanks, Logan.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye.